Welcome to the Fantasy Football Brothers. Let's meet your host. From the cold and harsh distant land of Mother Russia, lover of romantic walks from his bed to his couch, Boris Wagner. From the sunshine state of California, lover of barbershops and sleeping in, Richard Wagner. Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Brothers for another episode.
Welcome back to another episode. We are the Fantasy Football Brothers. My name is Richard Wagner.
And I am Boris Wagner.
And we are so excited to be dropping in today, be back with you guys. We got some tight end rankings coming up today. Man, it's an exciting time to be alive, isn't it, Boris?
It is, with like 15 days left till football.
15.
I am so stoked.
This is insane. It's felt like months for a
I
while
haven't been
now.
this excited since my bar mitzvah, man. Yeah.
Really?
And the only reason why I wanted that bar mitzvah was because I knew I was going to get a lot of money from my relatives.
Did you get a lot of money?
I did.
How much money?
I think it was like 10 G's, dude.
And what'd you do with it?
Spent it all on poker.
When you were 13?
Yes.
I smell something fishy in that story, but we're super excited to be back. We got an eventful episode planned for you guys. We got some buy or sell, some good questions about some wide receiver 1s and 2s. We got some news.
Yes, we do,
Not
Richard.
anything crazy happening this week, but we do got some news. And we got our top 10 tight end rankings.
Hella tight.
Anything else you want to add?
I think you look really good this morning.
Really?
Yeah. You look...
Why you gotta lie?
No, I feel like your eyes are sparkling. It's going to be a good one.
You think it's going to be a good one?
I do.
Well, then let's get into some news.
News.
Let's get into the news. Our first news topic today is A.J. Green returning to practice. He's been dealing with a hamstring injury for about 10 years, it seems like now. We don't know how serious it is and how much practice he was able to have. But, yeah, A.J. Green. We're actually going to be talking about him in our buy or sell coming up next. But, man, this guy has had a sad career.
Yeah, man. I mean, we don't know how serious this injury is. He returned to practice today. Did a little bit of running yesterday. We don't know the details of how much he was able to actually practice. I hope it's a lot because I got him in a league. And, I mean, when he's playing, we're going to go into it in our buy or sell, but when he's playing, he's a monster. So I am okay with that high risk, high reward. And, I hope his hamstring isn't okay, but he's not playing for the whole year type of the deal.
Yeah, hasn't played a full season.
Yeah, for like 2.5 years now or
For a
something.
while now.
I don't know. Or no, it's like a year and a half. I don't know.
Barely.
It's been a while.
Barely plays. Mike Williams, new statement that he will be out for a while. Injury more serious than we thought. Has a sprained shoulder. We talked about him a little bit last breaking news.
Right.
Pretty much off my draft board. What's he looking like to you, Boris?
Yeah, man. I never liked a guy that's, again, reliant on just TDs. I feel like if you're going to throw me that many balls, like I can catch that many at that point. You know what I mean? Like I can do it. Do you believe that I can do it, Richard?
That you can do what?
They can catch balls in the red zone.
In the NFL?
Yes.
I'm going to go with 0 for...
Not even one?
Maybe like you'd take like 1,000 passes to catch one.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And who's throwing me the ball?
You'd probably need like Patrick Mahomes to throw it to get that done.
All right, I'll take it. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for Reed, for KJ Hill, and actually picked this dude up in my dynasty is Jalen Guyton. I don't know if that's even the correct term. This is his second year, and he's actually, in the depth chart, actually a starter now. They were saying that they really, really need a speedster, and he's a starter now. So I wouldn't say draft him in a redraft, but just keep an eye on him. Who knows what's gonna happen in that offense? The only person I really like there is Eckler. Especially because I have him in every league. But, you know.
And Chase Claypool impressing in camp. How is you drafting him? Are you bumping him up? 'Cause he's kind of off the board for me still. But
Right. In redraft, in Dynasty, 100%, yes. But redraft is just really hard, man, because there's Deontay Johnson, there's James Washington, and there's Juju. Like people aren't even like all in on Juju yet, and to have like a fourth guy, third guy on that system yet is a little shaky. I feel like if Ben balls out and the wide receivers other than Juju like are just not up to par, I mean potentially, he's a pretty high draft pick, so I can see us chasing him in a pool of clay.
Pool of clay.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And it would be interesting. If he was in a pool of clay, I think
Right.
his draft stock would just rise up
Right.
like crazy.
Because you get stuck in clay?
But like he'd be traveling with a pool of clay around him.
Oh, right.
Right.
Okay.
Preston Williams having a great camp, saying he's better than ever, looking like he's recovering from his ACL injury quite well.
Hey.
I definitely am full on into Preston Williams. When he was on the floor, he was their best target.
He was leading the targets, receptions.
Right. So especially if
zone
Fitzpatrick
targets.
plays, but I also like Tua this year. I think whoever his quarterback is, I think if Preston Williams stays healthy, he's going to be a really consistent guy for you with a good floor, in my opinion. Maybe not too much ceiling because of that offense, but I think
I feel like you can never reach the ceiling, and no matter where you are, because you're pretty short.
Nice.
So
But Preston Williams isn't that short.
Right. He can, but I'm saying in comparison to you, I really like him because Albert Wilson's gone. They have a couple of other, I think one
And
other
Herndon is done.
Right, Herndon is they both opted out. So, I mean, they have, who do they have? What's his name? What's that dude's name? They have Ford, and they have, who's that? Grant, and they have Grant. So I'm not really crazy about those guys. I feel like they would just get a lot. Both of them could easily have like a top 15, top 20 finish. Yeah, I like his play. I think he's super talented. He has like insane speed for his size. Great hands. The guy has some nice hands. I got him in like three to four leagues. So yeah, man, I'm excited for him.
Yeah, and thankfully,
And you get him at so cheap, just dirt cheap.
right,
bro.
and thankfully I might be short, but my dude is 6'4", so he'll be
Right.
he'll be reaching.
If you average you guys out, then what? You guys
we're like 8 foot,
4 foot,
9
so,
foot, 10 foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, Preston Williams definitely a sleeper to grab. I love him in the end of drafts.
Absolutely.
I
People
think-
like in some of my drafts still on the waiver. It's insane.
Right, it's wild. Yeah, that was news.
I mean, clearly not on the waivers because I picked him up, but he was
Right.
on the waivers.
Right, that was all the news we got. Brought to you by Boris's beautiful forehead. Yeah.
Mommy
And-
said that she liked my forehead.
Yeah, she did. All right, let's get into some buy or sell.
Buy or sell.
Buy or sell. We got some good questions for you guys. I have a feeling we're going to have a little fight over here over the first one.
To see who's uglier.
About to knock out Boris live on camera.
Can't do that. Won't let you.
Our
I know
first
some
question.
Tai Chi.
You know some Tai Chi?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna call your bluff.
That's okay. I go all in.
Tyler Boyd has a better year than A.J. Green. Now, I think
Yes, let's hear what you think.
that Tyler Boyd might
Listen.
be the biggest sleeper in the draft.
You're saying he's such a sleeper that we're all sleeping
We're all
on him.
we're all sleeping on him.
That was
Bro-
not a good one.
not at all. But hey, I love the try.
Thank you.
This guy's going like a round and a half after A.J. Green. He's going in the like 9th round, 8th,
Maybe a
9th
little earlier
round.
than that. Right.
Now, this guy literally, with A.J. Green being off the field, had, 1,000+ yards?
2 years in a row.
2 years in a
even
row.
with A.J. Green on the field.
Even with A.J. Green, he balls out. Most likely, A.J. Green isn't going to play. I mean,
hey, shut your mouth.
Sure,
you shut
he
your
might
mouth,
play.
jabroni.
Most likely, he's going to miss a lot of
Hey,
time.
shut your
Tyler
mouth.
Boyd is going to eat in that offense, especially with Joe Burrow coming in.
Bro, I heard Tyler Boyd doesn't even like to eat. He's like on a diet. So I don't know about all that.
And I think that the probability that I think the reason that I would buy this is because I think it's very hard for A.J. Green to finish 16 weeks. Now, when A.J. Green is on the field, sure, he can have better weeks than Tyler Boyd.
Top 10, easy.
But-
easy.
the probability of him actually playing as many games as Tyler Boyd is quite low for me.
I think personally, this is the way I feel about A.J. Green. I think A.J. Green said to himself, bro, and Dalton's garbanzo beans.
Mm-hmm.
If he's going to still be our quarterback, dude, I might as well have a vacation with my hamstring.
I might as well just run into a dude and just break my
Yeah, just
hamstring.
break my leg, just sit out, watch some golf. I don't know what they do, but, and then now he's like, wait a minute, this kid, we got a rookie that can actually throw the ball and, give me some nice looks. And right now he's probably being like, hey, guys, I have an hamstring injury, but, like, nah.
Maybe
nah.
Maybe what he would do is he would take out the pads and hope he would get injured when he was playing with Andy Dalton.
Exactly.
And now he's gonna wear some pads.
Exactly. Now he's gonna wear some pads. I think this is hopefully a minor injury. My thing is, again, yes, he's going 100% before Tyler Boyd, and I love Tyler Boyd. If Tyler Boyd, if A.J. Green misses games, you got a top 15 dude, easy. In that system. But
even if you don't, baby.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I like that. But the upside with A.J. Green, to me, it just depends on the makeup of your team. If you have made your squad and your squad is pretty good and you have a lot of good floor, I feel like, getting an A.J. Green, is worth a shot in my mind just because of that upside. And we've never seen him play with a good quarterback, honestly. He balled out with Andy Dalton.
Hey, watch it there, okay?
He's a doll.
He's
a ton of dolls. He's just
quarterback.
a ton of dolls, and that when you're young, you're like, wow, this doll is so cool, right? And when you're older, you're like, bro, I wasn't even playing with dolls.
So do you buy it or you sell it?
I am.
You're forced.
Selling.
You're forced to sell it.
Yeah, only because I got him like 2 or 3 leagues. Also.
But if you didn't, it'd probably be a buy.
I mean, I would say I'm like 50-50, dude. I'm saying probability-wise, probably Tyler Boyd. Probability,
right.
a little. But I'm just going on my gut, my heart, my soul,
right.
my spirit, and I'm gonna go with AJ.
Right. That one was a little closer. This next one to me is outlandish. And the only reason.
Not so outlandish. I mean, I just recently made a bet with this.
The next one?
Yeah.
We?
No, not between me and you.
Yeah.
With some dude on Facebook.
I'm saying it's outlandish to me, and the only reason I believe we put this one in is to silence the haters.
Right, the hype.
To silence the
or
people
the hype,
that
or
are
the opposite.
that are wilding out. DK Metcalf has a better year than Tyler Locket. And this one is just absurd to me, man. Tyler Locket has proven himself to be the number one wide receiver there. The guy, the guy that Russell Wilson freaking throws to every single game.
They have a marriage.
Them two have one of the best duo threats
for sure. And Locket, before that injury, you were telling me, right? Top 10. Was he like the 7th, 4th? What was it?
I think it was before he went down in week 9 or something. He was the 4th wide receiver on the league.
So clearly, even with DK, yes, it was his rookie year for sure. And he's only gonna get better. In the system, but I just feel like in a team already that doesn't throw the ball a lot, I think for it'd be silly for us to be like, no, this kid is gonna be the guy now. I mean, Locket, his the catches that he's made, man, on the sidelines, where you're like, no way, bro.
I mean, look at this guy. This guy's number 5 in the league at catchable target rate, number 3 in target quality rating, number 4 in catch rate, number 9 in target separation, number 5 QB rating when targeted, number 11 in fantasy points per target. I mean, sure, Metcalf is a beast.
A monster, and he's going to get a lot of the red zone looks, even though Locket gets actually more than people think.
But Tyler Locket is insane at separating. I mean, this guy runs a 4.4, 92nd percentile. I mean,
he's a little dude.
I think Metcalf is overshadowing what Tyler Locket can become. Tyler Locket can realistically finish.
Right, and this is only this is his what 3rd year.
Right,
as
he
a
was
starter?
always behind Baldwin his whole career.
And Baldwin, he balled out, and he has no hair, and now he left, and now Locket, it's locked to have a better year than a calf of Mets.
Yeah, I think DK Metcalf is really hindering what this guy's potential.
Yeah, and again,
really
maybe
seems like.
if it was like an insane offense, where they throw the ball so much, and because
Well, they don't need to. The thing is, Russell Wilson is such a good quarterback. He's gotten over 30 touchdowns every single year. They don't,
right, and 4,000 yards.
They don't need to throw the ball the amount of times other teams do when you have such a good quarterback.
He's just so efficient.
Tyler Lockett's going to get his. Like, I really see Tyler Lockett can be a top 5 wide receiver next year. Like, even with Metcalf on the floor. Metcalf's ceiling is probably like
especially
a high
to
tight
me, I
end,
look at it
wide
as in
receiver
PPR.
too.
I just think Metcalf needs huge plays and more so like touchdowns, So, yeah, and again, what we're going to do, guys, is we are going to post, just make posts on our social media. Who would you guys take, Tyler Boyd or A.J. Green? We're also going to make a post, DK Metcalf or Locket, and we want to know, like, either on this YouTube, on our podcast, or on our social media, like, who would you guys take and why?
I mean, look at this. This guy, this is Tyler Lockett's game logs from week 1 to week 9 last year. 12 points, 18 points, 32 points, 10 points, 14, 13, 17, 16, 40. This guy is flooring you.
Like, at least 12, 13?
At least 12, 13 points. And then his ceiling is 40 or 33 points. This guy had a game of 152 yards.
Should have got him in more leagues. I know you got him in a lot of leagues, so I'm sure you're excited.
And this guy comes back from his injury, right? And where his last 3 games, 26 points, then drops down to 2 points, and then ends with 17 points.
For sure.
I mean, clearly this guy is a beast.
Yeah. And that's at the end of the season where DK Metcalf, already has gone comfortable with the system, and Lockett, with that injury, still getting his.
So all you Metcalf truthers,
go
back to the dungeon.
Make a bet with us. Let us know in the comments, and hopefully they bet us a lot of money and we win.
Go back to the dungeon, yo. All right. Well, that was our buy or sell brought to you by Boris's forehead. I
don't really like that.
You don't?
No.
Why not?
No, it doesn't sound that nice.
Okay, we'll storyboard it later.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get into our top 10 tight end rankings.
Tight end rankings.
Our number 1 tight end, Travis Kelce. Boris, you got him as 1. I got him as 1. Finished as 1 last 4 years. What is even the question here? Well, last 3 years, sorry.
Right.
What is even the question here? Why are people drafting Kittle above him? I don't understand it. The first tight end in NFL history to reach the 1,000 receiving yard mark in 4 consecutive seasons. The Chiefs have gone full running back mode, retaining as many pieces of last year's Super Bowl winning unit as possible. They brought back Watkins. They brought back Robinson. They drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the first rookie running back draft pick. They're going the same pretty much team with even a better offense with that running back pick. And you're looking at the tight end 1 the last 3-4 picks. I don't understand. 3 years. I don't understand how people are drafting Kittle before Kelce. Like, I played a best ball thing. I think it was best ball in the playoffs last year, where you pretty much pick your players that week. And the first weeks or so, people were picking Kittle instead of Kelce. And I understand Kittle's an amazing player, but Kelce's upside is literally like 40, 50 points. It's insane.
Yeah,
and that's what he exactly did for me. And I won a little G, baby, because Kittle.
A little G, baby?
Because Kittle did good. I'm sure he got like 40, 50 points, but you can't compete with Kelce, who's getting you 40 points in games.
To me, it's not even close. I think the talent, everybody says Kittle maybe has the talent, but in a system that runs the ball in San Francisco and has Jimmy G, who, I just think he's garbanzo, man. He's not that great.
Garbanzo beans?
Garbanzo beans, maybe little black beans in there, maybe some kidney ones. Just don't like his upside there, man. Even with all the injuries in San Francisco now, don't see it at all.
Well, I like him. He definitely is the tight end too.
Tight end too, yeah. But to me, they're on a different plateau.
Yeah,
man.
I can never take Kelce. I never take Kittle above him.
Right. As a 30-year-old dude, he's finished with at least 83 catches and 1,038 yards in the last 4 years. In the past 2 years, he's had 286 targets, 200 catches, 2,565 yards, and 15 touchdowns, averaging 143 targets, 100 receptions, 1,233 yards, 7 TDs, and 14 points per game, and only half PPR. Those numbers, a lot of wide receivers that are top 10 don't get that many catches, yet on targets. Those numbers are just insane. And, Last year, Mahomes was injured. Kelce didn't even in the season didn't even get as many touchdowns as he possibly could have. I mean, he honestly had a lower year than people thought he would have had. I think the whole Kansas City Chiefs had a little weird year, with Tyreek Hill being injured,
Right.
and Mahomes being injured. And right now, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire is pretty good, and he gets a lot of targets in the middle, I feel like he's able to get one-on-ones with linebackers like he should have got the year before, which he wasn't getting last year with all the injuries, and he's just gonna eat, man.
Yeah, I think his touchdown count was way too low. He got 5 touchdowns that whole year.
Yeah,
in the playoffs,
playoffs,
he got 4 touchdowns in 3 games.
Right.
So this guy's touchdowns are gonna go up 100%. And if we're talking about injury, right? We're talking about scariness. Maybe you think Kelce's older, more injury prone, whatever. Kittle has a 50% chance of getting injured this year. Kelce has only missed 1 game his whole career.
Bro, listen to this. He was the highest percent targeted of all NFL players.
At 41% last year.
41%, bro. So what more do you need from any single NFL player,
I would say
Literally.
Kelce, if there wasn't guys like Kittle, Andrews, Ertz, and Waller, which is the next 4 things, if there wasn't those guys, because I think any of those guys can actually get to where Kelce's like mid floor is, where his medium is between his ceiling and his floor, it would be the biggest positional advantage in the history. It'd be bigger than Christian McCaffrey.
I still think it's a huge positional advantage.
I don't, because I just think that Kittle, Waller, Ertz, Andrews can produce as well as Kelce. I just think Kelce has a way higher percentage of hitting that
ceiling,
production.
For sure.
Higher ceiling, but a higher percentage that he actually hits that ceiling. Our number 2 tight end, George Kittle. Boris, you got him at 2. I got him at 2 because that's his 2. Finished standard 3rd last year, half PPR 2nd, PPR 2nd. He finished as a tight end 2 and 3 in fantasy points per game during the past 2 seasons. They lost Emmanuel Sanders to the Saints. Deebo Samuels is injured. Drafted Brandon Ayuk, who then got injured. All their wide receivers are...
And then some other dude is injured too.
Are down.
Yeah.
They are a run-heavy team, but not the worst for Kittle because they keep him on there to block. So he's on the floor pretty much 100% of the game.
This either helps him tremendously or he gets like quadrupled up.
Oh, you were saying the injuries?
Yeah, all the injuries. So I'm saying either like... he's going to be targeted like insanely. I just wonder how covered he's going to be, knowing that these playmakers, these wide receiver playmakers need to like have decent games for them not to quadruple team him, because everybody knows the ball is going to Kittle.
Yeah, no, it definitely might mess him up. But the thing is, he's very efficient with his targets. I mean, he led the NFL last year in yards per route run with 3.12. And considering he only got 117 targets in 14 games with just 1 drop. So I think if Kelce is off the board, Kittle is a slam dunk number 2, especially with these injuries.
Yeah, in 14 games, he had 107 targets, 85 receptions, 1,053 yards, and 5 TDs. And the 5 TDs also is pretty low. And playing 14 games, he also has 79.4% catch rate in 2019, which was the best among all tight ends. So, he is amazing, and he's probably one of the more talented guys because he does, right? He plays both. He can block insanely. He's just very smart. He's a very smart player. I just don't like that system. They did go to the Super Bowl, but they run the ball way too much.
Yeah,
man.
I just think it's much harder to rely. Not even rely. It's much harder for Kittle to hit his ceiling than a guy like Kelce to hit his ceiling, just because of that team makeup.
Oh, by the way, just to mention, I forgot to mention the Kelce situation.
Right.
He also got a contract.
Right.
For 5 years.
So did Kittle.
Right.
So
they both got a contract for 5 years. So
for Dynasty, but I still lean. I know people lean Kittle. I still lean Kelce in all those Dynasty leagues.
100.
Sure, Kittle is younger, but anything can happen. And I mean, Kelce's locked up for 4 or 5 years. So 4 or 5 years with a $500 million for a $500 million quarterback to throw you the ball, I'm with it.
And they still potentially haven't had their best years. I mean,
right.
Mahomes has only played 2 years, man.
They've probably had their best years, but no, I mean, like, they can have better, but they probably had some of their best years for sure. And the big thing here also that we should probably go over is where do you want to draft these guys? What I would do is for a guy like Kelce, I'm picking them probably in the middle of the second after all of those high running backs I want. Probably pick him over like Aaron Jones maybe, and after all those 4 wide receivers, I'd pick Julio, Devontae, Tyreek, Michael Thomas before him, and then I'd probably pick like Sanders, Mixon, Jacobs, Eckler, Nick Chubb, and I forgot who I'm leaving out. Kenyon Drake probably, but I probably wouldn't pick Aaron Jones. And then Kittle for me is probably at the beginning of the third, middle of the third. I'd probably pick guys like Godwin and Hopkins before him, and Aaron Jones before him. Yeah, I'm a little scary about Kittle. He does have that 50% injury that can happen this next year, so it is a little scary.
For sure.
What about you?
Yeah, I probably have both of them at the same place. Honestly, as much as I want to, I haven't been able to get Kelce because he goes so early. As much as I want him, like at the end of the first, or beginning of the second, I feel like, as much as it's to me at least a positional advantage in the tight ends, like I feel like you can get good production with the other tight ends. So it's hard to pass out on a lot of the running backs.
Yeah. Our consensus ranking number 3 tight end, Mark Andrews. Boris, you got him at 3. I got him at 3. Standard, he finished as the second tight end, half PPR 4, PPR 5. Man, did he do good last year. He was like that tight end you got in the later draft. He was like the Kittle of last year.
Yeah, I had him in like a couple of leagues. He definitely helped me win some leagues.
Yeah, the Ravens just dealt tight end Hayden Hurst to the Atlanta Falcons, eliminating any legitimate threat to his targets. I mean, Boyle is still on that team. We'll see what happens with that.
He's more of like a blockerish type dude, too.
Right, but the Baltimore's offense isn't designed to throw a lot. With Andrews still in line to handle more of the receiving work, his fantasy stock is an all-time high. There's really nobody else there except Marquise Brown.
Right.
And with the amount of times that they run, 54% of the time, head and shoulders above the rest of the NFL. What happened was Mark Andrews didn't get a lot of targets, but when he did get those targets, they were so valuable that he produced a tight end 2 season in standard. They did acquire J.K. Dobbins in the draft to pair up with their other running back, Mark Ingram. So it's going to be an interesting year. Are the Baltimore Ravens going to be what they were last year? Is Lamar going to be able to run like he did? Our team's going to figure out how to stop it? A lot of questions there, but I think Mark Andrews is in line to have another good year if all goes to plan.
Yeah, I mean, last year he had 116 targets, 65% catch rate, 10 yards per target, TD every 7.5 catches. Pretty insane. He also ranked only 67th in snap share amongst all tight ends. He was a top 5 even with that. Thing is, he ran maybe, I'm not sure. I think they only had him for 40% of all their plays.
41.5.
Yeah, 41.5% of all their plays. So that was then. I mean, if his goes up even a little, man, even a little, with Hurst leaving. I mean, he has huge upside. I really like him. I am, it's a little scary just to know that he pretty much dominated based on touchdowns. He got insane amount of touchdowns, but I do think he's just gonna I feel like he's going to step up in that offense. I think that offense might have to throw the ball a little more. I think Jackson probably wants to prove that he can, be a even higher efficient, even though he was a really efficient thrower last year, to be even more efficient. And yeah, man, I think with the insane O-line, with a lot of really good running backs, I think he's gonna have a lot of open seams.
Yeah, I think that's why I was saying earlier that Kelce doesn't really give you that positional advantage, because any of these guys can get up there 100%. I'm off of him personally this year only because of Corona. I was
just gonna say that too.
Only because of Corona and COVID. He does have diabetes, and I'm pretty sure if he does catch Corona, people with diabetes are at a higher risk for it.
For sure.
And I just would rather be safe, especially when you're having to use, your third, fourth round draft pick on him. maybe 5th, but a high draft pick on him, especially with the chance that he might go down with COVID. And it's not 100% that, he still does as well on what he was getting last year. But realistically, the percentage is pretty high for his targets to go up even more, for his snap percentage to go up,
his snap percentage,
which is going to be scary. He might actually mess with Kelce and be the number 1 guy.
Potentially. I actually have recently, since having him as 3rd, I think I have him now as 4th, just because I actually love the next guy. We'll get into him next.
Yeah,
literally.
our next.
But I love Zach Ertz, man.
Yeah, our next guy is Zach Ertz. Consensus number 4. We both got him as 4, but I guess Boris switched it. Standard 5, half PPR 5, PPR 4. He struggled slightly in 2019 compared to his record-breaking performance the year before.
Right.
And there was an increased role from their other tight end, Dallas Goedert. The concern for Ertz is the health of the wideouts. Only Baltimore and Oakland drew a smaller share of targets at the position last year. Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, and perhaps Alshon Jeffrey figured to change that in 20. But that's already going off the rails. Alshon Jeffrey on the pulp half the year. It's a rookie wide receiver in Jalen Reagor. See if he can step up.
I actually just heard right now. I mean, again, we don't know how true it is, but the 2 biggest playmakers and biggest target shares have been actually Ertz and Ward. So those are the 2 biggest, the names that people are saying are having the best camp. They're actually saying Jalen Reagor is not doing as well as people hoped he would do. So again, we don't know how true that is, but remember, Reagor is a rookie. So yes, rookies can have good years, but it's a little harder with COVID. So I think with them not having Alshon and not having a lot of wide receiver core, I think even with Dallas Goedert, I think he's going to be able to eat. I think he's going to have a better year than he had last year. And he finished as the 4th in PPR. He finished better than Andrews. So
yeah,
he's used he's used a lot in the red zones. 19 red zone targets were tied with Kittle and Andrews, and one of the biggest red zones machines is Alshon Jeffrey, and Alshon Jeffrey is not there. So
yeah, I like Ertz a lot. I think if Darren Waller wasn't in there the round after, I'd be picking him in every single one of my leagues.
No, I think Waller's much.
No, it goes the right after. It's like
because Ertz goes 4-5.
He goes 5, and then Waller goes 6. But my only
that's in best ball.
Right.
It's
like one of the most accurate ones.
Right, but I did Yahoo, and that's not how it is in Yahoo.
I also did Yahoo. I think he went in the 5th as well. But besides the point,
I got him in the 4th.
Besides the point, well then you got
at
him.
the end of the 4th.
Nice.
But that's how
so
it
he probably would have went in the 5th if you didn't.
Well, I could have got him, but might as well get him.
Right. But my biggest knock on him is definitely Dallas Goedert. I think Dallas Goedert actually made our top 10 list. I think Dallas Goedert is a great tight end. Yes, last year when Dallas Goedert did well, also Ertz did well. Both of them can eat together. But their wide receiver core was very, 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 just
Don't
injured.
Say
poor, dismissed.
What do you have something against
dismissal?
Poor people?
Is definitely not a word.
Do you have anything against
No,
poor
nothing
people?
against poor people.
Okay.
But I think if the wide receivers come back and it actually is 2 tight ends, I could see both of their overall stats going down.
I don't
together.
See it.
If the wide receivers are,
it's it's the same thing to me. It's like if Alshon Jeffrey, let's say there's no Goedert and it's Alshon Jeffrey and Ertz, which it was
I'm
like
saying
that
if
before.
there's all of them.
I'm saying if Alshon is there as well.
If Alshon, Deshaun,
Right,
and Reagor's
if
playing and
everybody's
Goedert,
there.
that's what I'm saying. If they are healthy,
Yes.
I could see a big drop in both of their stats.
Potentially.
Right.
But Ertz has always been Wentz's go-to guy, his safety blanket. He likes blankets at this point. I don't know. Do you use blankets?
Not too much.
You don't use blankets?
I just sleep naked. Yeah.
I like that.
Our consensus ranking number 5, Darren Waller. We both got him as 5. He finishes standard 4th, half PPR 3rd, PPR 3rd. The Raiders added a bunch of players this offseason. Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, Nelson Aguilar, and Jason Witten. Man, these guys have been pulling. They've had one of the best off seasons, I think.
Right, the Raiders definitely have.
in a while, I think.
And their camp, just all the raves with their rookies, man.
Yeah, and contrary to popular belief, Derek Carr is a really good quarterback.
Right.
He's very a productive passing attack. Despite having a lackluster receiving core, Carr ranked in the top 10 for passing yardage last year.
And number 1 in protection, too.
Right, and I could really see him getting like 4,400, 4,500 yards last year. With the addition with the addition of Ruggs, Edwards, Aguilar, he's going to have some really good weapons. Josh Jacobs.
Don't forget Jason Wynn, baby.
Josh Jacobs stepping in another year, getting even better. Nearly 30% of Carr's passing yards went to Darren Waller because he excels as a safety valve who can move the chains after the catch. I think, like I said, if Darren Waller wasn't there, Ertz would be a smash pick. But Darren Waller in the 6th round is insane value. He literally could be a tight end 1.
Yeah.
He has the ability. I think he's like 6'6",
super athletic.
Insanely athletic. This guy's a beast. He has a pretty decent quarterback throwing on the ball.
Yeah,
and a bunch of rookies to compete with.
Right. Yeah, exactly. With Williams gone now, and you literally have all
and
rookies.
Williams is injured.
Williams is out, and you have all these rookies who, who knows how good they are. Waller has proved himself last year. 117 targets, 90 receptions, almost 1,200 yards, and 3 TDs. And that's the exciting part, the 3 TDs. Everyone with that much reception, with that much targets, and that much targets in the red zone, had at least a couple more touchdowns, if not double those touchdowns. So I think those touchdowns are gonna go higher, are gonna go up. And to me, honestly, if Ruggs and Edwards do well and they space out the field, I think potentially, he's gonna do even better, man.
And Darren Waller actually statistically might be the best tight end in the league. 100th percentile 40-yard dash, 99th percentile speed score, 90th percentile burst score, 82nd percentile agility score, 96% catch radius. He's 6'6", 255 pounds, number 2 in receptions, number 2 in receiving yards, number 4 completed air yards, number 6 in yards per reception, number 3 in yards per outrun.
And he's also 4.5 on the 40.
Number 2 yards per target, number 7 catch rate, number 1 in contested catch rate, number 2 in drops, number 4 in total target distance, number 3 in production premium. Dude, this guy is literally built.
Bro, it reminds me of the days when I was in middle school, and I got all these awards of number 1 in math, number 5 in science,
right?
Number 1 in PE.
You're in your focus group, right?
Not in my focus group. I don't know what that.
Your group of 6 people.
No, in my middle school.
Right, in your...
I'm saying in my school.
How your classroom would break off into
No, it would be the whole class.
Oh, breaking off though?
There was 30 people in my public school.
And then you broke up in groups of 5?
I didn't break up with anybody at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't actually have a relationship.
You weren't active?
I didn't have a serious relationship until I was 18. So I didn't break up with anybody.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you can still. You don't have to have a serious relationship to break up with someone.
you see how I look.
So that might have been you. Wait, I don't know if that was a little coy, he kind of went beat around the bush there. Maybe he doesn't want to bring up an ex because his girlfriend's in the room. That when he was younger than 18.
Could have had a girlfriend when I was in middle school, probably because girls were flocking at me.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was kind of beside my point of my academic career.
Right.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
He was the 6th in math. I heard just like this.
No. I said the 1st in math and 5th or 6th in science.
6th in science, just like our next tight end, Jared Cook.
Hey.
We both got him at 6. Standard 6th, half PPR 7th. PPR 7th is what he finished last year.
I heard he likes to cook.
Jared Cook's first season as a Saint, he ate a lot of food.
Did he? Do you think him and Chubb just
just
you want to just go at it?
You want to get chubby? I want to cook. Let's get chubby while we cook.
Oh shit, he gonna cook that meat for that? Okay.
Jared Cook's first season as Saint may have started slowly, but he finished strong. He turned into a top 10 fantasy finish among the tight end position last season, and he will look to continue the success in year 2. His biggest hurdle this season will be the addition of Emmanuel Sanders and Alvin Kamara if he's back to healthy. This guy finished the year last year as an amazing tight end. He finished tight end 7 on the year in PPR and half PPR. It's going to be hard. His efficiency was through the roof last year.
Right. And he got 9 TDs, man.
Yeah,
which
it's
only
gonna be
14
hard.
games.
It's gonna be really hard to repeat. I could
I
could see this guy busting, but
right. But the reason I think we both like him is just the people under him.
right.
I feel like yes, he can be a little. He might not be as consistent, and he has a lot of question marks. But I feel like everybody, ranked higher than him, ranked lower than him, has a lot of those question marks too. And in a system like Drew Brees, who dishes it out, and they've said so many times how even at this guy's like 35 years old, even at that age, he's a monster. And if people are gonna leave him open, he's gonna eat. So
Yeah, I think it's just Drew Brees is throwing him the ball.
right.
Definitely gotta get under that. Gotta get back to that. And also like it's upside. Like all of these guys have question marks.
Right, absolutely.
All of these guys you don't know once you get past these top five.
Absolutely.
And I think Jared Cook has one of the bigger upsides in the league, as well as where he's going in drafts. You can get him so late.
Right, super late.
So he's a guy I definitely like to target. Our consensus ranking number 7.
Have you ever been to Target?
I actually have, but I think we
Wow.
shouldn't support them. But I have.
But you do support them.
I guess actions speak louder than words.
Okay.
I have been a Target. I've walked down aisle 7, just like our consensus ranking number 7.
Wow, this
Evan
guy's so
Engram.
clever.
We both got him at 7. He finished standard.
You're literally copying me in every
No, you
single
copied
projection.
me. I did the projections first, then he copied me.
Not true.
Standard 19, half PPR 18, PPR 18. He finished last year on the injury reserve with the foot injury that lingered into the offseason. Ingram's problems has been staying healthy. He should be healthy by the start of the year, but he will be considered a risky fantasy option. Coordinator Jason Garrett brings a tight end friendly system from Dallas and should like Engram. Biggest knock is, this guy can't stay healthy. If he was on the field, definitely would be with those top 5 tight ends for me.
Right. He also has a in his foot. What was it?
What, a screw or
screw?
planet?
Yeah, he has a screw in his foot. So usually it's harder to play with the screw and it's easier to get re-injured. The reason why we have him 7th, I can easily at least have him 6th at least if he stays healthy. He's a monster. With only 8 games, he led the team in red zones. He had only 1 game or fewer of 5 points, and had a couple games of 20 plus. He never saw less than 5 targets. He was on pace for 136 targets, 88 receptions, 934 yards, and 6 TDs. Clearly his upside is insane. He's a monster. He's athletic. He's big.
But he has missed 13 games in the last 2 seasons.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If he can stay healthy, he's a steal because where you're getting him.
100%. Our consensus ranking number 8, Hayden Hurst, standard 34, half PPR 34, PPR 34. He is the tight end replacement for Austin Hooper in Atlanta, and Austin Hooper was thriving last year, finishing as the tight end 6. He was destroying with Matt Ryan and them. He was targeted 97 times and the most in the red zone in Atlanta. Ertz is just as tall as Hooper, but maybe a tad faster, and unfortunately a whole lot less experienced. He was the 2018 first-round draft pick, and he's more talented than Hooper. And the scheme favors the tight end, so Hayden Hurst is one of those picks at the end I freaking love this year.
Me too.
I think they just couldn't keep him with Mark Andrews. They just didn't need him with Mark Andrews, but he did good when he was in Baltimore for the limited amount of times he was on the field. He's better than Austin Hooper in an offense that loves throwing to the tight end. Matt Ryan, most passing attempts in the league. I think this is a slam dunk year for Hayden Hurst. It's just scary because he's never done it before.
Right. The problem is he's never had a good season. They never really needed him. They never used him, which sucks. And we thought he was gonna do good, but then here comes Andrews. Andrews just takes over in Baltimore. The thing that I'm a little weary of, that's I don't have him a little higher, is that even Austin Hooper, other tight ends in that system, it takes them usually at least 1 year to become comfortable with the group, and with COVID, it's just a little tricky. I feel like in general he has amazing upside, and they were just saying that they want him to play they wanted him to be in every single snap, every single play. So his upside is tremendous, because they have the most vacated targets. So it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. I do like him. Hooper last year was on pace for 120 targets, 92 receptions, almost 1,000 yards. So yeah,
Definitely a guy I would pick at the end.
right. That to me, to me is like at that end of like easy. Like I can see be a top 5 guy.
Right.
You know.
He's like what Kittle was, what Mark Andrews was.
Right.
Our consensus ranking number 9, Dallas Goedert. We both have him as 9 again. Standard, he finished on all 3 as the number 10 tight end. On most teams, Dallas Goedert would be the tight end 1.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, he's behind Zach Ertz. But, his ceiling is capped with Ertz if Ertz is healthy. And, but I would like to say that
What would you like to say?
Philly's wide receiver group is hella injury prone. And we saw that last year. When they go down, Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz can thrive together.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. It's like, I mean, we look at it, it's like tight ends, so like they can't pass to 2 tight ends. No, like it's like wide receivers, you can throw it to multiple wide receivers, and when a wide receiver goes down, the tight end, especially one of these tight ends, becomes just another wide receiver that they can target, and they can both eat, and they seemingly have played really well together. He averaged 8 points a game with 87 targets, 58 catches, 670 yards, and 5 TDs. And to me, that's only going up. I mean, he's only getting better in that offense, in that system. And he's only played with Carson Wentz probably 1 year. I mean, last year was Carson Wentz's year where he was actually fully healthy. So if Ertz does get injured, wowzers, and they're also saying, but this is kind of more in dynasty, is Ertz going to get traded next year or the year after that, and is Goedert going to be that guy? But recently they have been saying that they're trying to get Ertz that contract, so it's a little tricky. But wait, another thing, in the second half of the season, he starting from week 11, he had a minimum of 6 targets. In one game, he had 12 targets, 9 receptions, 91 yards, and a TD. So he can do it. His upside is pretty high.
Yeah, and our consensus ranking number 10 tight end, Chris Herndon. Boris, you have him at 16, but I think you moved him up a little. I got him as 10. Last year, he did not play. Lost the year due to injuries and a 4-game suspension. But they've come out and saying he's going to be their tight end 1. He's going to have a prominent role in 2020. And the Jets need help in the passing game drastically. He should be their primary target for Sam Darnold. And they lost 2 of their starting wide receivers, including Robbie Anderson. But they drafted Denzel Mims and got Brashad Perriman. I think that Herndon is poised to have a huge year this year. He has the physical makeup. In 2018 season, he was 23 years old. And he got with only 39 receptions, he went for 502 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a pretty old rookie, man.
23?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where does it say that was his rookie year, though?
That was his rookie year.
Right. But this guy has the makeup. His physical attributes is wild.
Hey, producer, next time write that it's a rookie year, okay?
Okay.
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 Hey, okay.
This guy's 6'4", 253 pounds. He's a monster. He can get you those big plays.
Yeah, I just think his upside is pretty good, even though the Jets system with Gase is like, stay away. But I feel like Darnold potentially wants to win games, and he's going to have to throw it somewhere. And people were excited on Denzel Mims, but he's been injured this whole time. He hasn't even practiced. So, and he's a rookie with COVID. Brashad Perriman, they're saying he's pretty good. He's had a decent camp. And Crowder, yeah, I mean, Crowder's pretty reliable. But still, on the outside of, in my mind, Crowder, there has to be a guy. And in his rookie year, he was shown to be a pretty reliable target.
Yeah.
For Darnold.
He had in week 16, 69% snap percentage, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 82 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, so I mean, he can definitely do it.
3 red zone targets that game. Week 6, only 40% snap percentage on only 2 targets, 2 receptions. This guy goes for 60 yards and a touchdown.
Right.
The next week 7, on 7 targets, 4 receptions, 42 yards, and a touchdown. The week 12, 8 targets, 7 receptions, 57 yards. So this guy can get it done. I think he's gonna have good floor if he can stay healthy and his snap percentages go up.
Right, and you're getting him dirt.
You can get him off the waivers
cheap.
practically. Yep. So that'll do our top 10 tight end rankings. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments.
Please.
We really do appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, that's pretty insane. That means you guys are digging our content. And any way we can get better, let us know. Leave us a like if you got time. Leave us, hit that subscribe button. Turn on that notification bell so you know.
Yeah, guys, because listen, I mean, you guys want to hear all the awesome things that I have against my brother.
That you and your forehead have.
All the poll wins that I'm going to win. Every single strategy that I have better over him and game plan over him. And honestly, I'm the taller, better looking, nicer hair.
This is bogus.
We had 2 people that said that they would be okay with calling this show the Boris Show. So clearly.
But they were your friends.
Doesn't matter. But they were your friends too at the same time, weren't they?
True. Well, if they're watching right now, I'm very disappointed in you guys. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. This has been the Fantasy Football Brothers.
16 days.
16 days until the fantasy season.
Woo.
Can't get here fast enough. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Brothers for another episode. Visit our website at thefantasyfootballbrothers.com. Check us out on social media at the Fantasy Football Brothers. See you next time.